Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Joining us is a guy from Comcast Midwest, a Chicago guy. A guy who Dusty Baker feels is racist. Dave Kaplan. Dave, your thoughts?
Dusty Baker loves me. That's my guy. Now he's got a lot more time to hang out because he got whacked today in Cincinnati with, I guess 390-win seasons the last three trips to the playoffs the last four wasn't good enough for the Cincinnati Reds. Pretty unbelievable.
What do you feel? Dusty, left Chicago, said there were some racist fans. Now he's leaving Cincinnati and saying the same thing. Is that true?
I mean, I can't speak to the Cincinnati part of it. I did see the mail in Dusty's office. I went in there, and I remember one day I got there early. It was 8:30 in the morning. We didn't play till 1:20. It's pretty quiet. Players were just starting to stream in, and we're just sitting there BSing about life. And we got into this discussion about the Cub fans and how when you lose two in a row, the Cub fans basically think the season's over. When you win two in a row, they basically think they're going to win the World Series.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, there's some lunatics out there in the fan base, too. I said, what do you mean? He said, they don't like me because he's African-American. And I said, do they write you and tell you that? And he had a stack of mail. And he goes, just pick one. So I kind of reached in the middle of the stack, and I pulled one out. And it was the most vile thing I'd ever seen about how they wished his cancer would come back and he'd die. And,
oh, my God.
I mean, some of the most vile stuff I'd ever read. You ruined my life when the Cubs didn't win in 2003 because you did this wrong and you did that wrong and you're this and you're that. So I saw it firsthand in Chicago, the handful of nuts. Now, that's not the fan base. That's just a handful of lunatics who just need to get a life. But what happened in Cincy, I can't speak to.
You ruined my life. I mean, that guy's got let's face it, got a life. I mean, quite frankly.
Yeah,
right, John? I mean, that's a sad thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a more positive situation involving possibly the Cubs. You're good friends with Joe Girardi. What are the chances he's a Cub manager? Is that all just bunk? I mean, there's so much talk going on about that right now.
Well, I believe that Joe would like to sit down and talk to the Cubs. Look, he has great loyalty to the Yankees, and he should. Joe's as classy a guy as you'll ever find.
Right.
That said, his contract is up at the end of the month. In Major League Baseball, it's not up the day of the last game. It's up at the end of October. That's how the manager's contracts work. So his contract isn't up till the end of the month. Now, the Yankees have made him a very nice offer. He has to ask himself, do I want to walk away from that offer to talk to Chicago? Because what I've been told is that the Yankees have told him, we're making you this great offer between $4 and $5 million a year.
Wow.
And if you tell us you want to go talk to Chicago, we're pulling our offer. So
playing hardball.
Correct. Now, it's like you ever the movie The Firm?
Yes.
Okay. In the movie The Firm, they say, they get your kids into schools and they give you the good life, and then once you're in, you can never get out. That's what it's like working for the Yankees. It seems like you can never, ever get out. Well, I think if Joe sat down with the Cubs, I know for a fact that they would pay him as much or more than the New York Yankees. Money will not be the reason the Cubs lose him. But the longer this drags on, the better it is for Chicago. Now, could he be announced as a Yankees contract by Sunday? I'm certain that's a possibility. If Joe really wants to be here, he's going to have to say to the Yankees, okay, well, I'm going to wait then till the end of the month because I want to talk to Chicago. And then if that's where it gets to, I think he ends up the Cub manager. He's not going to the Nationals. They asked to talk to him. The Yankees said no. He's not going there. He's not going to go replace Dusty in Cincinnati, even though they might be interested. It's either going to be New York or Chicago. I think you still have to look and say New York's the favorite. He just built a gorgeous home there in Westchester County. Kids are in school there. It's a major upheaval in their lives. But I could tell you, I played a piece of tape on my show tonight. A friend of mine who's a filmmaker in Hollywood, Matt Liston, interviewed Joe in 2002 for a documentary he was doing, and he said, if I told you you could trade in your 3 Yankee World Series rings from when you were a player for one with the Cubs, would you do it? He said, absolutely.
Huh.
So that
Really?
that shows you where his heart is.
No kidding. I never heard that. Well, screw him. Take him.
So go to YouTube, put in Joe Girardi rings, and that'll be the first thing that pops up. You can play it. You'll laugh.
I'll put in YouTube scumbag, and that'll pop up.
You know, if I'm
I'm a Yankee fan. I'll put in dirtbag, and I'm sure that'll pop up.
if I'm Joe,
You're a Yankee fan?
Yeah.
Okay, were you a Yankee fan your whole life, or are you just a front runner?
Oh, no, dude.
Yankees.
No, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan my whole life. I grew up in Union, New Jersey. I was at the game when Reggie hit the 3 homers when I was 10 years old. My old man, we sat in the upper deck. I am a lifer Yankee fan, absolutely. And I love Joe. I love Joe Girardi. I'm making a joke, but I did not know about his love. I mean, listen, the Yankees are, they have such a corporate image now that a lot of people don't feel it's as special maybe as somewhere else, like, getting a Cub ring at Wrigley Field. But let's make no mistakes. The Cubs are just as much corporate as anybody. I mean,
There's no doubt all the teams are. But the funny thing is, if Joe Girardi wins a ring in New York, which he already won one in 2009, if he wins another one, he's not going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, you got Joe Torre won, 5? You win with the Yankees, it's expected. The Cubs haven't won a flipping ring in 105 years and counting, and it ain't going to happen next year. So if he comes here and he wins the World Series, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
well, you think if he wins one more with the Yanks, he will? And, he has him as a player.
He'd have 3 as a player, 2 as a manager, maybe. But he comes to Chicago and ends the curse. He's a lock.
Well, Francona ended the curse in Boston, and they showed him the door pretty quick.
Yeah, they did. Now, Theo Epstein, our general manager, or our team president, if Theo wins here, he will be the only guy to end 2 curses, the curse of the Bambino and the curse of the Billy Goat. That will definitely put him in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think he might have ended one and prolonged another is what I think. I don't know. I mean, do you like that deal?
What, Theo being here?
Yeah, for that money?
Yeah, I do, because I feel like we've got the number 2 rated farm system, and when he took over 2 years ago, we were the 28th rated. Now, prospects are just that. They've never done it until they prove they can. But at some point, somebody looked at John Ritchie and said, hey, that guy's got a chance. And then he came to the NFL and he proved he belonged. So hopefully some of these prospects belong.
right? Hey, Dave, you interviewed Sammy Sosa today.
I did. He hasn't spoken to the Chicago media in 5 years. I worked this for 2 months. Finally got the call on Tuesday. Can you be here Friday morning? Yes, I can. Got on a flight yesterday, flew down there, and sat with him and got 70 minutes on tape.
Wow.
For a TV documentary I'm doing, and he was unbelievable.
Wow.
What'd you talk
Can
about?
you tell us anything about it?
Yeah, we talked about the only thing I did not ask him about, because it's not anything related to what I'm doing this documentary on the 03 Cubs and how they lost in the Bartman thing and all that. I didn't ask him about PEDs. That was my promise. I'm not going to talk about that with him. But he talked about leaving the team early on the last day of the 04 season. He talked about how much he wants to come back and mend fences with the organization, because he's since 05. He has not been part of the Cubs family in any way, shape, or form. I mean, this is a guy with 60-plus, 3 straight years, 60-plus homers. You go into Wrigley, it's like he never existed.
Yeah.
So I asked him about it. He said, look, we made mistakes. We had miscommunications. I want to come back and be part of the family again. And if it takes me apologizing and the Cubs apologizing and we bury the hatchet, I'm willing to do it. He was phenomenal.
Well, that shows you how much PEDs mean to the fans and the media. You
Right.
60 homers plus 3 straight years, not even like you said. We got to take a break. Northwestern, can you talk about that when we come back?
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Dave. He's going to stick around back with more Dave Kaplan after these words. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show, talking with Dave Kaplan from Comcast Midwest. And He's a Chicago guy. We'll talk a little Northwestern. Go ahead, John. What do you got for him?
Yeah, Dave. Hey, you do the Northwestern pre and post game stuff. Do you think they have any shot at beating Ohio State tomorrow?
Yeah, I actually picked Northwestern 34-30.
Really? Now,
Look at Chi-Town.
Wait a second.
Chi-Town coming through.
Are you doing that because you have to, or do you really believe that's going to happen?
No, ask your outstanding producer, Danny Filato. I shoot from the hip.
Wow.
I will ruffle feathers because I don't always say what's politically correct, whether it's picking a Chicago team or criticizing some beloved player, coach, or executive. But I'm just telling you, Pat Fitzgerald's a hell of a football coach.
Yeah, but he's not on the field.
I get it, but this is a really good Northwestern team. It's going to be an insane environment around there. I mean, it is going to be absolute bedlam in Evanston tomorrow. They are really jacked for this game.
Yeah.
And in the end, I just think they are going to find a way to get it done. Back in 2004, the late Randy Walker was coaching Northwestern, and Ohio State rolled in, and Randy said it was just a special blend of guys, and they upset Ohio State, and that's the only win Northwestern's had over Ohio State in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I just have this feeling Kane Coulter has been getting time at practice this week at wide receiver. He's their quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he's a great athlete. I think you're going to see a lot more Kane Coulter out in pass patterns, and Trevor Siemian at quarterback, and they're going to air this thing out, and it's going to be a high-scoring affair.
If Ohio State loses 34-30 to Northwestern, I am driving to the Northwestern campus and falling off the wagon.
Let me tell you something. If you fall off the wagon here in Evanston, call me and I'll hang out with you.
All right, you got it. It's a deal, man.
Kane Coulter is amazing. He's tough as nails. He can do everything. I think also, do you think there's a situation for Ohio State at quarterback? I mean, are the coaching staff down on Braxton Miller because he chose not to play the week before? When was that? 2 weeks ago, when he could have played and didn't because he felt like he was too hurt. Was that an issue?
No, I don't think it's an issue. I mean, look, Urban Meyer, I don't believe, has lost a game, period, as the head coach at Ohio State.
Right.
I think he's undefeated. So he comes in here with a hell of a football team. Something just tells me you get away from home with 18 to 22-year-olds. You remember, it's just different. They're not playing in Columbus. I really believe Northwestern is going to play an exceptionally good football game. Can they lose it? Absolutely, they could lose it. But in the end, I really think this thing's going to go right down to the wire. I remember a game several years ago. Michigan against Northwestern, and Michigan lost 55-48.
Wow.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.